Hello friends, and welcome to the online lecture series of CNC machines and automation. We have started the unit number 4 and we have discussed some of the system devices, and today we are going to discuss the very important topic related to the CNC machine, the sensors, which are the heart of the CNC machine, without which a machine is nothing. It would be your conventional or simple machine. The sensors are the only thing which differentiate between your conventional machine and a CNC machine. Correct. So what is a sensor? Sensor are vital components of an automation system. So a sensor is an element that produces an output in response to change in physical quantity. It includes various things, like as you can see in this block diagram. There is a physical quantity to be measured through one way, then it is the transducer, which is converting that physical input to an electrical signal. Then electrical signal is conditioned, because whenever the signal is passed through the transducer, their voltage is very less, correct? So it cannot be sensed easily, it cannot be have some output in the range of human observance, correct? Then there is a signal conditioning, through which we are increasing the amplitude, we are increasing the frequency of the signal. Like in case of your electrical signal, it is your voltage. We are increasing the voltage so that it can be sensed by the different methods. Then it is a displaying or recording device. Then the same thing is to be displayed on your monitor. So this complete thing is becoming your sensor. The physical quantity first is measured, then it is transducer. What transducer is doing? The physical quantity which is measured, that is to be converted into electrical signal. Then electrical signal is conditioned so that the human observance could be made possible. Then next is your display or recording device. Either it can be recorded some computer or it would be displayed on your monitor. So that is a sensor. But sensor must be having some characteristics, clear, because of which it depends that on what machine we are using, for what purpose we are using, how much it is range, the sensitivity. There are different characteristics which differentiate the sensors here, which is basically the matter of their cost. If you are having higher sensitive sensor, then its cost would be greater. So according to your need, according to the application, we are using the different sensors, correct? The sensors having two different type of characteristics or the properties, you can say. There are static characteristics or the dynamic characteristics. So we are discussing first the static characteristics. So the static characteristic starts with the range. Range means how much is the maximum and minimum value of your sensor. We all know that minimum value would be 0 for a sensor, but what is the maximum value of a sensor? So it says that allowable range of physical quantity that can be detected by the sensor, means the value which can be detected, the maximum value. As you can see in this scale, the scale shows you the maximum value 11 sorry. So if it is 11 or 12 value, then it is a maximum value in which the sensor is working. If your measured value would be beyond this limit, then you have to select the sensor which is having a huge range. So it is 0 to 11, that will be the range of your sensor. Fine. Then the next is your accuracy. Accuracy is very crucial issue. That is, says that the difference between the true value and the measured value. Let's say you wanted to produce a component of 25 mm diameter. So if you are getting the 25 mm diameter of your output is 25 mm diameter, that is material produced or the component produced is having 25 mm diameter, then you are perfect and accurate. But if it's variation, if there's a changing, if the variation in the diameter, that will be lesser accuracy. So it says that the difference between your true value and your actual measured value, if they are same, then it is 100% accurate, otherwise not. Then there is a resolution. Resolution says that the smallest change in input value that will produce an observable change in the output. That can be easily understood through this. As you can see in here, there are two graphs. The first one is here, it shows the accuracy as well as the resolution. The ideal condition is shown in this way. The ideal condition is shown like this one. This is your ideal condition. But this is your actual condition. The difference between these two is called your accuracy. But see in this case, this graph is perfect because your ideal condition is and your accuracy and your measured value is same. So it is highly accurate, you can see. But what is resolution? Resolution says that the smallest change in the input would give you the observable change in the output. So you can see in this case, there's a low resolution because you have to change the higher value. The higher value is changed, then you can see it. But a sensor is that much is preferable, in which if you change a slight change in your value, it gives you the observable change. The slight change in the input value will give the observable change. That is the perfect kind of your sensor. Yeah. But in this case, in this range, that the sensor is sensing huge value, then there's a small change. So that's a less resolute. But in this case, a smallest change, see the changes. The changes are smaller and it can easily find the observable change in the output. So that is a high resolution. We always prefer the highly accurate and highly resolute sensor is required. Then we are having the next property, which is hysteresis. Hysteresis says that it is a maximum difference in the sensor output for the same input quantity. For example, if you are every time keeping the same input, and your output is changing. See in this case, you are giving one pressure, increasing in pressure, but when you decrease the pressure, it follows the another path. Check this out. When you are slowly increasing the pressure, or giving the input to a value, but output, when you are taking it back, it gives you the different values. So the difference between these two, the difference between the pressure, you can say in this, according to this example, the difference between this pressure is called your hysteresis. Yeah. So for example, if you have taken, every time you are measuring the diameter, let's say it's a 25 mm diameter. Once you measure, it is coming 25.1, 25.2, 25.3. So the measurement is different. So the minimum and the maximum value, correct? So the maximum, when it is taken the difference from the 25 mm and the maximum value, that is called your hysteresis. Let's say the maximum value you got 25.5. So 0.5 is your hysteresis. So we want that the hysteresis should be minimum in case of your sensors. Otherwise, what would happen? You are saying something else and the sensor is reading something else. Correct? So we do not want that. So the hysteresis says the maximum difference in the sensor output for the same input quantity. If you are keeping the pressure same, but your output is coming different. So the maximum difference is called your hysteresis. We want that to be minimum. Then there's a repeatability. Repeatability says that error in output value for the repeated application. Every time you're keeping the same input, but there's an error in output. If you are coming the same value, that is called, it is a repeatable. We want the sensor to be repeatable. Then we are having a stability or a drift. Both are same. That variation in output with time, one input quantity is not changing. For example, if you are keeping your pressure to 1 bar, all the time 1 bar, but your output, your sensor is showing, sometimes it is 0.9 bar, sometimes it says 1.1 bar. Here, so we do not want that. If the pressure is 1 bar, it should have to be stabilized at 1. It should not vary. It should not drift to the lower or maximum value, to the other values, to any other values. Correct? So we want that it should be stable and do not have any kind of drift from the actual value. Correct? So this is the sensitivity now. So relationship between measured input and output. You can see this graph. This can be easily understood, this graph. So this is your extension, this is your capacitor and the noise change. See, the highly sensitive sensor is this, because the error is coming out is very less. Whenever there is a small change, the sensor could sense it immediately. Correct? Otherwise, the output would be different. There would be error in case of that. Clear? See, if there is a low sensitivity, see this error. See, the error is increased because your sensitivity is low. But if your sensitivity is high, although there is a straight line, correct, inclined to your x-axis somewhat, but the sensitivity is different in both the cases. So the error would be lesser if it is highly sensitive sensor. So this is all your static characteristics. Now we are moving to the dynamic characteristics. So first dynamic characteristic is your rise time. So what rise time says? The time taken by sensor to reach or to change a certain percentage of output time. As you can see in this case, in common we call it as rise time when a sensor starting from 0 to reach to its maximum value. That is called your rise time. But for the definition, we have just taken a range. A range is from 10% to 90%. When your sensor changes from 10% of your output to the 90% of the output, we call it as rise time. The time taken, he says that time taken by sensors to change the certain percentage in output is rise time. So in my case, this is your 0 point, it is 0 over here at a time t1. It started and slowly the pressure is increasing. For example, the pressure is increasing and reaches to the maximum value and it shows the maximum value of 1 bar. But in the time in which it started from 10% to 90%, then we call it as a rise time. We call it as sensor's rise time. We have selected this 10% to 90% range. Then we are having the settling time. So settling time says that whenever you started from the 0 and moves to the maximum value, which is required value 1, but sometimes due to the inertia of the needle, due to the inertia or maybe due to the sensor's activity, that it overshoot the value and it overshoot the value and comes back down. Then it goes to the negative value, then positive, and slowly your sensor comes to the actual value, which is 1 bar. So it takes time. So this time is called the settling time, when it is started from 95% to the 1.01%. Clear? So that is called your settling time. He says that time taken by the output to reach within certain percentage. Generally we call it as a 5%, means 0.95 to 1. When it comes into this range, correct? When this comes into this range, we call it as a settled one. Because the sensor cannot be reached every time to the 1. It remains vibrating between 0.95 and 1.05. So we call it as a settling time. Then there's a time constant. What is time constant? Time constant says that from 0, when it reaches to the 63.2% of its value, then the time taken to reach to its 63.2% value, we call it as a time constant. Here, the time constant. So the time constant by the output to reach 63.2% of the final output. So the smaller time constant indicates rapidly responding sensor. Means if it reaches to the 63.2% rapidly, then the sensor is good. If it is reaching slowly, then the sensor is slow. Correct? And we do not want that. That it should be a robust one. It can rigid one, it should be a robust one. Clear? So this is all about today's lecture. For the further lecture, you must subscribe this channel, Tiny Steps. Like, subscribe and share the videos so that others could get benefit from it. Thank you and take care.